So before I begin, before the timer starts, I wanted to let y'all know that I have a neurological disease that affects my speech and affects my balance. So if I look a little unstable up here, that's why I'm not drunk. I just have a brain disease. It also affects my sense of fashion. I am so sorry. Um, so, all right, can we try something real quick? Can we just change the lighting real quick? Let me see something different. I don't know that this is the right vibe for my talk. Let me see another vibe. Oh, hey, or y'all can go home now. I'm just kidding. But isn't that what that says? All right, let's try one more vibe. Yeah, this feels right. We chose this lighting because this is what we want you to see. Light is crazy, right? Changes the way we perceive the world and the way we perceive others around us. Light is powerful. I play with light every single day. It's literally my day job, as y'all just saw in that video. I love light and I can't get enough. This year alone, I've done 3,500 photo shoots of individuals coming into my studio. I have a studio out in Franklin called the Portrait Lab, where I do 60-second photo shoots. It's crazy. And as I'm shooting, the lighting is changing, the backgrounds are changing, even the editing is changing. I'm pretty sure, and I think I'm the only one in the world doing this. It's crazy. It's like witnessing ADHD in real life. I told you so, right? And then I coined a term called a lightograph, which is the evolution of light through a still portrait. The only motion you're seeing right now is the light itself. And by the way, when I was shooting this, my daughter, she said, "So wait, you just get to sit here and play with light all day?" And she couldn't believe it. It's like, yep, that's literally my day job. So last year, I took playing with light to extreme levels. I did a project called Auras, where I shot 10,000 self-portraits in 20 minutes in front of a live audience. Like, it was insane. Check this out. So images being projected behind me, onto my body, all around me. Nothing was changing but the light itself. And as I sat there absorbing all the light, I had a crazy, profound realization. And I realized that the human body and the camera body work exactly the same way. But before I keep going, let's think about light. Like, just like I showed you, we think about light as the way you're seeing me right now. It's lighting in this room. It's darker back there, brighter up here. But what if we thought about light beyond the physical, beyond the scientific? Like, I think about light as everything that's hitting us all day, right? The emotions, our feelings, the things we're experiencing, everything is light. So let's look at my camera. This is not an ad for Canon, by the way. I promise all cameras matter, all right? But when we point a camera, light enters the lens, right? It passes through the lens, and behind the lens is something called a sensor. And a sensor is the most important part of a camera. Like, you can't let dust or dirt enter your sensor. You have to protect it at all costs. So light hits a sensor, sends a signal to the computer to process, and out of the camera comes an image. The same thing works with us. Our eyes and our ears and our senses, light is going through that lens and hitting our heart. The most important part of our body we must protect at all costs, or else it can get damaged. It then sends a signal to our brain to process, and out of us comes an image. So whether it's a camera body or a human body, light works the same way. It informs our image. And the higher quality the light, the higher quality the resulting image. So what I mean by image, think about, like, what does your child think of you, your daughter? What do your parents think of you? How do your friends perceive you? How do your followers enjoy following you? All the light pouring into our heart, our sensor, forms the image that others see of us. So when I was a kid, I had this terrible self-image. So my word was, I can't do that. I'm stupid. I thought I was an idiot. But my parents, they just poured quality light into my sensor over and over. And even in college, I thought I was stupid. I made a D in photography and nearly failed photography, but they kept encouraging me, and to my photography professor's surprise, I was actually a success. I landed an agent in Hollywood and ended up in Hollywood, and since then it's been a wild ride. Check this out. I photographed Lauren and Logan and Mark and Brittany and Miley and Russell and Kelly and Chris and Carrie and Gwyneth and Ryan and Tyler and Courtney and Kim and Sting and Dolly and Spike and Emma and Stan and Barack Obama and the Pope and, of course, Taylor Swift. Early in my career, I was named the most influential photographer on the internet. It was cool, but I was like, okay, is that like the image that I want perceived of me? Do I want to be like known as the rock star celebrity guy? And I was like, that's not really what I want. I would rather like be known for things that matter, more important work. And so I poured myself in humanitarian work. I did a wildfire relief project in Gatlinburg. I did an earthquake relief project in Haiti. Rwandan genocide project, did a Ugandan project with former child soldiers and art therapy. And then I did a little initiative here in Nashville where we photographed the homeless and told their stories and printed the photos. And then that became a worldwide movement. We've done over 1 million portraits around the world since. I was able to change the image, my perception. Now when I do podcast interviews or people talk about my work, we're not talking about Britney Spears. We're talking about the humanitarian work I've done, the things that really matter. And of course, I have to give credit to all the people in my life who are the quality light. My family, my friends, my community, many of you here today that are in my life, pouring light into my sensor that helps me come up with these ideas. So as a photographer, I have to think about types of light, and there's a lot of those. There's strobes and gobos and projectors and constant light and natural light. We have to make all those decisions about type of light. In our own lives, we have the same thing. We have your friends and Netflix and podcasts and audiobooks and you name it. There's all kinds of stuff. So in addition to type of light, I have to think about the quality of light. Have y'all ever heard a photographer talk about hard versus soft light? Think about it like the sky. On a clear day, the sun is really small and it's far away, it's distant, and it makes everybody look like crap, right? Like really harsh shadows, like it's blinding, it's just a lot. But on an overcast day, the clouds, they diffuse the light. They make it one big soft light. In comparison to the sun, those clouds feel really up close and personal. It softens the scene. And by the way, this is why, you don't know this, but this is why we love car selfies, because it's the same thing. It's softening the light and diffusing the light. It's really great. So have you ever had a fight with a friend or somebody you love over text or over DMs? And it's like getting really intense and bad. It's just bad. It's easy to be that angry, right? When it's just her phone and they're far away and you can't see emotion, you can't get a feel for tone or expression. And so we're just, keyboard warrior. But you love that person and you wish that, man, if we'd only had that conversation over coffee, it would have gone so much better. Because you're face to face, you understand everything. It's like soft light. It softens the scene, all the shadows are gone, the harshness is gone. That's how I think of hard versus soft light. I'm sure y'all have heard by now people whose lives are changed when they take a week-long phone break, right? Or like a month long, their life has changed. Well, it's really simple, actually. They change their quality of light because the phones really can be this just machine of dark, hard light. I saw this tweet years ago, and it's made me laugh ever since. This guy, I don't know who it is, but he was like, every once in a while, I'll stop looking at my phone, and I'll look out the window, and I'm like, whoa. So good. So let's talk about social media for a second. Everybody says it's either amazing, you have to be on it, or it's either the devil himself, like these two extremes. And I don't think it's either. I don't think it's good or bad. Recently, I went on Instagram and I looked at the 1,700 accounts I follow, and I assigned an emotion to every single one, and it went just like this: joy, rage, humor, fear, inspiration, heartbreak, lust, envy, entertainment. By the way, it's crazy that envy is verified. Yo, we are not designed for this. It's crazy. Think about it like food. Would you eat every type of food at once? Like, we sat down for dinner, and I give you a burrito, and I'm like, in this burrito, you've got sauerkraut, wasabi, mayonnaise, ketchup, Pop Rocks. Let's throw some peppers in there. Like, would y'all eat that? No, you wouldn't eat it. It'd be terrible. Some of you are saying yes, so we can't be friends. So in the same way, like, what if we listened to all the music at once? Hip hop, country, pop, rap, like EDM, jazz. Let's try it. You ready for this? I'm just going to go on record and say that's the worst sound ever heard in the Skirmorn. Like, worst sound ever. Now let's do it again, but let's look at visuals of all the things you can't afford, all the people sexier than you, all the talents you don't have. Let's throw in some puppies, some dogs, some fail videos. Let's throw in some motivational quotes. Let's just take a look here. Hello, and then we try to go to sleep. Right? Like, young people, if you've ever heard us talk about the good old days before phones and the internet, the reason why is everything was up close and personal. We weren't frying our brains all day. All we had was this right here. It was wonderful. It's no wonder the depression and suicide are at an all-time high. It's no wonder there's this mental epidemic happening. It's crazy. So what do? Like, of course you could go throw your phone in the trash. Of course you can go quit social media, but I'm not the quit social media guy. I actually love it. But here's what I did and how I love it. I simply went on Instagram and I identified all the things that triggered those negative emotions, and I either muted or unfollowed them. Like, no more negativity, like I can't do it. And now it looks more like this. And paintings that inspire me. Still got to see the dog and cat videos. Like, still got to have the wisdom. Like, I still love watching sports. Like, all the things that don't bring me down, but they just make it an enjoyable experience. Did y'all know that a laser can actually harm or destroy a sensor? And it does that by shining light at a really high intensity and in a focused beam. Talk about high intensity and a focused beam. Like, what are we doing to ourselves? Like, what is going through those phones into our sensors? Help you. Like, literally today, try this. Pick your platform, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and just try this. Like, go through and attach an emotion to every single account you follow and mute or unfollow the ones that you don't need in your sensor. You're in control. The algorithms are not out to get you. You train them. They don't train you. So you can do this. You can change the algorithm and curate the light that is entering your sensor. And then now that you know how to do that, like, apply that to the rest of your life. Your Netflix queue, your schedule, your friends, like whatever you want. Just go through and do a better, tighter curation. As Jim Rohrer said, we're an average of the 5 people closest to us. In the same way, we're maybe the average of the 5 top social media accounts you follow, or the top shows you watch. Now let's talk about shutter speed. So shutter is the amount of time that your shutter is open and then it closes, and during that time, that's when the light enters your sensor. So your shutter opened the moment you were born, and it'll close the moment you pass away. And that image that forms, all that light that entered your sensor, that's what you're left with. That's your legacy. There's no going back. We get one life, one sensor. So just for a second, think about your mom. Now think about your ex. How about your dad? How about your crush? Isn't it interesting what formed for you? Whether it's a visual, a memory, a feeling, a vibe, like something formed. That's the image. I lost my mom in 2020. She was just an amazing, extraordinary source of light for me. And she had such a hard childhood. She was sexually abused as a kid and had a really hard dad, just had a tough time. And the fact that she had such a damaged sensor and was able to raise me the way she did. I don't have a single traumatic childhood memory. She poured nothing but quality light into my sensor. My dad is the same way. Just he's here today, nothing but quality light. This man is my hero. And I just photographed this the other day, a few days ago. And of course, I shot it with my beloved R5. So this camera, the reason I'm bringing it up is this camera has a 45 megapixel sensor. So mega, in case you didn't know, means millions. 45 million sensor. So let's take a look here. Let's just zoom into this image. We're going to keep zooming, keep zooming, keep zooming, keep zooming, till you see the actual squares in the image. You are literally looking at 45 million squares that all form together to tell the story of my dad. So as I was curious, I asked ChatGPT, I was thinking about minutes. I was like, how many years is 45 million minutes? And I could not believe the answer. 85 years, that's a lifetime. So when we look at that image, we're looking at 45 million pixels, and we're looking in the same amount of minutes as in a lifetime, 45 million. So all the emotions, all the things that we experience day to day, they're all pixels in our final image forming what others will see of us. There's the highlights in our image. You know, there's your wedding day, and there's the goals you achieved and the first time you held your child. There's the mundane pixels, the middle tones, right? These are the social media scrolls, the interactions with strangers, the long walks, the long drives. Then, of course, there's the dark pixels. These are the failures, the regrets, the loss, the loneliness. But the light needs the darkness to truly shine. The image would be flat without the darkness. So one final reminder, y'all. We get one life to choose and curate the light that enters our sensor to form our image and be seen. My question for y'all today, my final question, is what do you want them to see? Thank you.